Have you ever felt like Christmas has become more of a competition than a celebration? Bigger trees, flashier lights, inflatable Santas on every lawn. It's like everyone's trying to outdo each other. But what if I told you there's a group of people who've stayed true to the heart of Christmas for centuries? Their traditions are so different, they don't even agree on which day to celebrate it. Curious? Let's dive into the fascinating world of Amish Christmas. Welcome to a world where Christmas isn't about the biggest gifts or the brightest lights. For the Amish, it's a deeply spiritual time, marked by simplicity, tradition, and heartfelt devotion. But what's even more intriguing is how different Amish communities celebrate Christmas in their own unique ways. Why do some Amish families celebrate on December 25th, while others wait until January 6th? And what do their celebrations look like without Santa, Christmas trees, or shiny decorations? Let's explore. Two Amish communities just a few miles apart, yet celebrating Christmas on completely different days. Some are gathering for church on December 25th, while others won't mark the occasion until January 6th. Why? It all comes down to the calendar they follow. Traditional Amish groups like the Old Order and the Schwartz and Truber Amish celebrate January 6th, a day they call Old Christmas. For them, this date, coinciding with Epiphany, is believed to be the true birth date of Christ. They view December 25th as the world's Christmas, a polite nod to the mainstream date, but one they consider historically inaccurate. Meanwhile, the more progressive New Order Amish and some Amish Mennonite communities align with the modern calendar, celebrating on December 25th. But don't expect them to join the holiday shopping frenzy. Their celebrations might share a date with their English neighbors, as they call non-Amish folks. But that's where the similarities end. Regardless of the date, Amish Christmas celebrations are centered entirely on faith. There's no Santa Claus, no festive ornaments, and definitely no Rudolph. Instead, their day begins with a solemn church service, even more reflective than their usual Sunday gatherings. The focus is entirely on the birth of Christ, leaving no room for modern holiday distractions. And when the service ends, life quickly returns to normal. Amish families take the day off for worship, but there's no extended holiday break. By the next morning, they're back to their daily routines, a stark contrast to the multi-week festivities many of us enjoy. Here's an interesting twist. Even the most traditional Amish communities acknowledge both dates in their own way. It's not unusual for them to quietly observe December 25th while saving their full celebration for January 6th, or vice versa. This dual acknowledgement reflects their deep commitment to faith and tradition. For some, January 6th honors historical accuracy, while others see December 25th as a practical compromise. Now let's talk about gifts. Forget the latest gadgets or expensive trinkets. Amish gift giving is about meaning and craftsmanship. Picture a handmade quilt, every stitch telling a story, or a solid oak rocking chair built to last for generations. Even the children's gifts are special. Wooden toys carved by their father or cozy mittens knitted by their mother. These gifts aren't just thoughtful, they're practical. A young carpenter might receive a new set of hand-forged tools, while a neighbor gets a basket of canned vegetables from last summer's garden. It's a far cry from the battery-operated Santas and novelty socks many of us exchange. Even within the Amish community, gift-giving varies. The New Order Amish might include store-bought fabrics or practical clothing in their exchanges, while traditional groups stick strictly to handcrafted items. Think hand-bound Bibles or prayer books lovingly copied by hand. Let's talk Christmas cards. You know the ones we hastily sign and send out, often covered in glitter that sticks around for months? Well, the Amish do things a little differently. Their cards are often handmade masterpieces, featuring carefully written Bible verses or heartfelt prayers. For some Amish families, making these cards becomes a cherished project, turning a routine task into a meaningful family activity. Instead of glitter and shiny stickers, their designs are simple and elegant, often showcasing stars, angels, or other spiritual symbols. Here's where Amish Christmas shines. No Black Friday madness, no panicked Amazon orders, and no worries about gift receipts. When you've spent months crafting the perfect gift, you're not second-guessing whether it's the right size or if someone else got the same thing. Now imagine explaining our modern gift-giving rituals to an Amish person. Yes, we camp outside stores at midnight, spending money we don't have on things we don't need to impress people we might not even like. You can almost see the gentle head shake of confusion. The Amish stick to a simpler approach, where each gift is infused with care, time, and skill. A lovingly stitched quilt, a handcrafted rocking chair built to last generations, or wooden toys made with a father's own hands. For the Amish, gift-giving isn't about price tags or trends. It's about thoughtfulness and practicality. While we're glued to our phones, texting holiday wishes or video calling relatives, the Amish embrace face-to-face connections. Their Christmas gatherings aren't just family affairs, they're community-wide events. Imagine extended families gathering in numbers that would dwarf most of our family reunions. Cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, and even those relatives you've never quite figured out how you're related to. The journey to these gatherings is a scene straight out of a Christmas postcard. Picture horse-drawn buggies on snow-dusted country roads, the rhythmic clip-clop of hooves in the crisp winter air. It's a far cry from the stress of holiday traffic or airport delays, but the slower pace adds a layer of charm and connection. Amish celebrations go beyond family. The entire church community comes together, turning special services into reunion points where prayers, stories, and support are shared. And here's the heartwarming part. They ensure no one is left out. The elderly, the sick, or families going through tough times are given extra attention, ensuring everyone feels the warmth of togetherness. Because they rely on horse and buggy transportation, Amish gatherings tend to be more localized. This intimacy creates a sense of closeness that no amount of video calls can replicate. Their churches often host unhurried gatherings where families linger, children play, and conversations flow freely. It's a refreshing contrast to the rushed Merry Christmas many of us exchange before heading home. Amish families also work together in the lead-up to Christmas. While we battle grocery store crowds, they organize barn raisings, quilting bees, and community baking days. These preparations aren't just about getting things done, they're moments to strengthen community bonds. Here's a fun thought. Imagine coordinating all of this without phones or email. No running 10 minutes late group texts or last-minute Facebook cancellations. When Amish families make plans, they stick to them. There's a reliability in that simplicity that feels like a breath of fresh air. Even after Christmas Day has passed, Amish communities keep the spirit alive throughout the winter. While we're packing up decorations and rushing back to work, they're still gathering, sharing, and celebrating. For them, Christmas isn't confined to a date. It's a season of connection and gratitude. And let's not forget about holiday attire. While we're debating whether sequins are too much for dinner or frantically searching for ugly sweaters, the Amish keep things simple but meaningful. On Christmas Day, whether December 25th or January 6th, men dust off their best black suits, meticulously pressed and polished. Suspenders are perfectly adjusted, and every detail reflects their commitment to looking their finest in a modest, respectful way. The Amish take holiday dressing to a level of care and precision that's almost an art form. The men's black hats are immaculate, not a speck of dust in sight. Their crisp, perfectly pressed suits and polished shoes would make even the most fastidious tailor proud. Meanwhile, the women's preparation for Christmas services is equally meticulous. Their dresses, often in rich, solid colors, are pressed so flawlessly that every pleat falls into place. Paired with spotless white aprons and prayer caps starched to geometric perfection, their attire radiates dignity and reverence. What might surprise you is the subtle variety in Amish clothing traditions. Some communities allow slightly darker shades of blue or brown for special occasions like Christmas, while others stick strictly to black. It's their version of a dress code, where slightly darker blue permitted carries just as much weight as black tie optional. And yes, they can tell the difference between an acceptable blue and one that's too fancy. The children's outfits are particularly charming. Imagine little boys dressed like miniature versions of their fathers, resembling tiny businessmen from another century, and girls in matching dresses with tiny aprons and bonnets. Unlike modern kids itching to change into cozy pajamas after the festivities, Amish children wear their formal clothes with a natural poise that seems far beyond their years. Getting ready for Christmas begins well in advance. Clothes are carefully aired out, mended if needed, and pressed with the kind of attention to detail that puts professional dry cleaners to shame. Every button is tightened, hems are checked, and each piece of clothing is inspected with a keen eye. This isn't about vanity, it's about respect for the occasion. The specialness of Amish Christmas attire doesn't come from glitter or sparkle, but from the care poured into every detail. A freshly pressed shirt, a perfectly tied bonnet, and a spotless apron become their own kind of ornamentation. The preparation itself is like a choreographed dance. Parents assist children with ties and buttons, older siblings help the younger ones with their shoes, and everyone moves through the morning with calm, purposeful rhythm. It's a stark contrast to the last-minute rushes many of us experience, trying to find matching socks or iron a wrinkled shirt. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about Amish Christmas dress is its balance of simplicity and significance. These outfits aren't drastically different from their everyday attire. They're simply the best versions, cared for with intention and respect. While they may look serious in their Sunday best, there's often a twinkle in their eyes as if they know a secret about finding peace that the rest of us have overlooked. You haven't truly experienced comfort food until you've sat down at an Amish Christmas dinner table. While most of us stress over following recipe videos or deciphering grandma's cryptic instructions, add flour until it feels right. The Amish carry on culinary traditions perfected over generations. Their holiday spread is a feast for the senses and a testament to their connection with the land and each other. At the heart of the meal is the roast chicken. No ordinary bird, mind you. This is a chicken that was likely roaming the farmyard just that morning. Seasoned with herbs from their garden and roasted to golden perfection, it's the kind of dish that would put Instagram-worthy meals to shame. Then come the mashed potatoes, creamy clouds of buttery heaven made from freshly dug potatoes. Rich and satisfying, they'll make you forget those instant potato flakes lurking in your pantry. And no Amish Christmas dinner would be complete without chouflée pie, a Pennsylvania Dutch masterpiece that's equal parts molasses and magic. This sticky, sweet dessert is so beloved it could probably spark a family feud if someone dared take the last slice. A perfect blend of molasses, brown sugar, and crumb topping creates chouflée pie, a dessert that's somewhere between a cake and a pie, a culinary masterpiece that makes you wonder why anyone ever bothered inventing anything else. Some families have used the same chouflée pie recipe since before electricity was a thing, and not a single ingredient has needed changing. The ham served at an Amish Christmas dinner isn't your average store-bought variety with a questionable glaze packet. It's meat that's been cured and smoked using methods passed down through generations. Served alongside freshly baked bread, soft and fragrant from the oven. It's the kind of meal that makes you question every sandwich you've ever eaten. Vegetables like carrots, beans, and squash, picked at their peak ripeness and preserved just for the occasion, round out the spread. Each dish is a testament to the season's bounty and the Amish commitment to self-sufficiency. What makes an Amish Christmas feast truly extraordinary is its communal nature. Each family brings their specialty dish, transforming the meal into a collaborative masterpiece. Mrs. Miller's perfectly flaky pie crust might sit alongside the Yoder family's legendary green bean casserole, whose secret ingredient remains an enigma even after 3 generations. While sharing is a cornerstone of Amish life, some family recipes remain sacred, guarded with an almost play. Preparations for these meals start days in advance. Kitchens become bustling hubs of activity, where mothers and daughters roll out dough, chop vegetables, and pass down techniques that aren't found in cookbooks. Meanwhile, fathers and sons might be butchering a chicken, bringing preserves up from the cellar, or stoking the fire in the wood stove. The process is like a well-oiled machine, except it runs on tradition and lots of butter. Every part of the meal is made from scratch. Butter might be churned on site, flour milled from homegrown wheat, and eggs gathered fresh from hens that the family knows by name. This isn't farm-to-table dining as a trendy restaurant concept. It's simply how the Amish have always done it. When Christmas Day arrives, families gather around long tables for a meal that would put any holiday dinner to shame. Grace is often said in Pennsylvania Dutch, and dishes are timed to perfection, all arriving hot at once, a feat that feels like kitchen magic. There's no background noise from the TV, No phones buzzing with holiday selfies, just the warmth of conversation, laughter, and the occasional, "Pass the potatoes, please." And let's not forget the leftovers. In Amish households, nothing goes to waste. Every scrap of food finds its purpose, whether it's tomorrow's lunch or feed for the farm animals. It's a poignant reminder that good food, like good company, should be cherished and never taken for granted. Ever wonder what Christmas morning looks like without the latest gadgets, gaming consoles, or smartphones? For Amish children, it's a holiday that's worlds apart from their English counterparts. Yet there's no hint of missing out. In fact, their Christmas might make you rethink what truly makes kids happy during the holiday season. The excitement of Christmas morning for Amish children doesn't revolve around a mountain of presents under a tree. Instead, they might find a few carefully chosen gifts, a handcrafted wooden train from their father, complete with cars that roll smoothly, or a homemade doll with hand-stitched dresses from their mother. These aren't just toys. They're heirlooms in the making, designed to last for generations. No batteries required, no assembly instructions needed, and definitely no some parts missing discoveries a week later. Amish school children also experience the holiday season differently. While other kids rehearse for winter concerts with pop renditions of holiday songs, Amish students might be learning traditional hymns or sharing stories that highlight the religious meaning of Christmas. Picture a one-room schoolhouse filled with children's voices, singing hymns their great-grandparents sang in that same room. What's truly fascinating is how Amish children take part in holiday preparations. Unlike their modern peers who are often glued to screens while adults handle the work, Amish kids are right in the thick of things. They help prepare food, assist in making gifts, and learn valuable skills in the process. Young girls might stitch their first quilt squares while boys help in the wood shop under their father's guidance, creating simple yet beautiful gifts. Instead of writing letters to Santa, Amish children might help craft heartfelt Christmas cards. Rather than visiting a mall Santa's village, they enjoy sleigh rides in the real snow or help deliver homemade gifts to neighbors by buggy. Their joy doesn't come from flashy toys or holiday sales, but from shared experiences, family bonds, and the timeless magic of the season. While many children spend the holiday season focused on wish lists and the latest toys, Amish children are learning the art of giving. Imagine a young boy carefully sanding a small wooden box he's crafting for his sister, or a girl stitching the final touches on a pot holder for her mother. These are more than just handmade gifts. They're lessons in thoughtfulness, craftsmanship, and the joy of creating something meaningful for others. During their Christmas break, Amish children also participate in acts of community service. They might help their parents deliver food to an elderly neighbor, visit a sick member of the community, or assist with chores for those in need. For them, the holiday spirit isn't about what they receive, but what they can give. These experiences instill a deep sense of connection and purpose, creating a Christmas rich in meaning and joy, without a single battery-operated toy in sight. Perhaps there's something profound in this less is more approach. It reminds us that the best gifts often come not from a store, but from the heart. If you think regular Christmas caroling is special, wait until you hear how the Amish do it. No instruments, no printed lyric sheets, and certainly no light-up Santa hats, just pure soul-stirring harmonies that transcend time. Amish carolers bundle up against the cold, climb into their buggies, and head into the crisp winter night. But this isn't your typical rendition of Jingle Bells. Instead, they sing traditional hymns, often in Pennsylvania Dutch, telling the story of Christ's birth with a depth and reverence that makes popular holiday jingles seem trivial by comparison. What's truly remarkable is the preparation behind these caroling expeditions. While most of us might glance at lyrics or hum a tune before heading out, Amish families practice these hymns year-round during church services and family gatherings. Children grow up immersed in the melodies and harmonies, learning them as naturally as they learn to speak. By their teenage years, many can sing multiple harmony parts effortlessly. And here's the most astonishing part. They do all of this without instruments, no guitars, no pianos, not even a pitch pipe. One experienced singer starts the hymn with a single note, and the group joins in seamlessly, creating a rich tapestry of voices. It's a masterclass in a cappella singing, performed not on a stage but in the snow outside a neighbor's home. The caroling itself is an experience to behold. Picture a group of Amish families arriving by buggy at a farmhouse, their breath visible in the cold night air. They gather quietly, forming a semicircle, and then, without fanfare, the first notes of a hymn float into the stillness. As the harmonies build, the sound becomes almost otherworldly, an echo of centuries-old traditions. But these visits are more than just musical performances. They're acts of community care. Caroling groups often visit the elderly, the sick, and families who face loss during the year. Imagine sitting alone on a winter evening, only to hear these beautiful voices outside your window, bringing not just music, but a tangible sense of support and love. The choice of homes isn't random. The community knows who needs these blessings the most. Carolers might travel miles by buggy to reach a secluded farmhouse where an elderly widow lives, or stop by the home of a grieving family. Each visit is a deliberate act of compassion, a way to remind others that they're not alone. The power of Amish caroling lies not just in the beauty of the music, but in the warmth and connection it brings. It's a reminder of what the holiday season is truly about: love, unity, and the timeless joy of giving. What makes Amish caroling even more special is how it brings together generations. The deep bass voices of grandfathers, the clear soprano notes of young girls, and even the slightly off-key but enthusiastic contributions of the smallest children, all coming together to create a beautiful, harmonious whole. Nobody is left out, and no one needs to audition. It's about participation, not perfection. And yet somehow, the result is nearly flawless. A perfect blend of voices that transcends the individual and creates something greater than the sum of its parts. The songs they sing tell stories that many modern Christmas carols don't touch. These aren't just catchy tunes, they're songs about the journey to Bethlehem, the shepherds in the fields, and the profound mystery of Christ's birth. The hymns are rich in theological depth, reflecting centuries of faith and tradition. These songs are more than holiday music. They are musical sermons, passed down through generations. As the evening progresses, the carolers move from house to house, their voices carrying across snow-covered fields, weaving through the quiet of the night. There's no amplification, no microphones, just pure, unadulterated human voices, joined in harmony, creating the kind of Christmas music that would make even the most jaded soul stop and listen. In a world where everything is often artificial, there is something profoundly moving about this natural, human expression of joy and faith. Christmas services in Amish communities are unlike anything most people have experienced. Imagine the most solemn, meaningful church service you've ever attended, then multiply that intensity by 10. That's the essence of an Amish Christmas service. The day begins before dawn, with families rising in the pitch-black early hours to prepare for the service. There is no last-minute rushing or throwing on whatever's clean. Everything is deliberate, solemn, and reverent. This is serious business. The service itself lasts 3 hours or more, and no one is checking the time, mainly because they don't wear watches. It's the kind of devotion that would make most modern churchgoers' jaws drop, especially considering there aren't any cushioned pews to sit on. The service might take place in a converted barn or a dedicated meeting house, adding to the atmosphere of simplicity and reverence. The mood in the church is charged with quiet anticipation. Unlike regular Sunday services, which are already intense by most standards, the Christmas service carries an extra layer of solemnity. The hymns are longer, the Bible readings more extensive, and the sermons, but there's no sense of impatience. This is sacred time, and the community embraces it with open hearts and minds. The singing during these services is something extraordinary. Remember those perfect harmonies from the caroling? Now imagine that power and purity inside a room full of people who've been singing these hymns since they were children. There's no accompaniment, no organ, no piano, just human voices lifted together in timeless songs that tell the Christmas story in ways that would make even the most iconic carol sound like a commercial jingle. The sound rises up to the rafters, a living testament to generations of devotion. What's particularly fascinating is how Amish children handle these marathon services. While most kids in other communities might be bouncing with excitement, eagerly awaiting presents, Amish children sit quietly, participating with a maturity that seems almost unnatural to outsiders. Sure, the little ones might get fidgety. That's just part of being a child. But there is a deep understanding that this time is sacred. The minister's sermons take a deep dive into the Christmas story, but they don't just focus on the basics. They explore details most people gloss over, like the significance of the manger, the symbolism of the shepherds, and the theological implications of God becoming human. These aren't just simple lessons. They're profound insights presented in a way that makes the Christmas story feel fresh and revelatory each year. And the seating arrangement itself tells a story. Men and boys sit on one side, women and girls on the other. The oldest and most respected members of the community sit in the front rows, with everyone arranged according to their place in the community structure. It's a visual representation of their deeply rooted values of respect, order, and tradition. The Amish Christmas service is not just about faith, it is also a reflection of their social structure and the way they express this through tradition. The seating arrangement serves as a living map of the community's social fabric, with families sitting in a manner that reflects their respect for one another and the role they play within the larger community. It is a humble yet powerful visual representation of how every person, no matter their age or role, contributes to the greater whole. This deeply structured tradition provides a sense of unity and purpose that is rarely found in today's fast-paced world. When it comes to the dress code for Christmas services, the Amish take their usual strict standards up a notch. While Amish clothing is always modest and plain, Christmas church attire is the best of the best. Men's suits are perfectly pressed, women's dresses are immaculate, and everyone's shoes are polished to a shine that could pass a military inspection. It's their way of showing respect for the occasion without falling in. This outward appearance serves as a silent but powerful statement of their inward devotion. What makes these services truly special isn't just their length or solemnity, but the way they strip away the distractions of the modern world. There is no rushing through the service to get to presents, no checking phones for messages, and definitely no talk of holiday sales. Everything is focused on the religious significance of Christmas, creating a sacred space where the outside world cannot intrude. This allows the community to spend the holiday in quiet reflection and worship, keeping their focus on the true meaning of the season. As families file out of the service, there is a collective sense of having participated in something profound. They haven't just checked off a religious obligation. They've spent their Christmas morning exactly as they believe it should be spent, in worship, in community, and in reverence. When the majority of the world moves on from Christmas, Amish communities continue their celebration, embracing what they call the 12 days of Christmas. While many of us are dealing with post-holiday fatigue and buyer's remorse, the Amish take a different approach. Instead of cramming all their festivities into a few days, they spread them out over several weeks, ensuring that the holiday spirit lingers long after December 25th. This extended period of celebration is filled with family gatherings, community events, and charitable works. Families take turns hosting meals, continuing the tradition of giving well into the new year. These aren't extravagant parties with excessive food and decorations. Instead, the focus is on the people present, not the presents. The simplicity and sincerity of these gatherings reflect the Amish commitment to community and their emphasis on togetherness, not materialism. One of the most beautiful aspects of this time is the charitable work that continues throughout the season. Amish families are busy helping one another in practical ways, like checking on elderly community members, delivering food to families in need, and ensuring no one runs out of firewood during the winter months. Their approach to Christmas isn't about receiving, it's about giving and ensuring that everyone in the community is cared for. As the new year begins, Amish families continue the rhythm of work and celebration without the abrupt shift back to normal life that many experience after the holidays. There is no post-holiday burnout in Amish communities. Instead, the spirit of Christmas transitions seamlessly into daily routines with continued acts of kindness, community support, and gratitude. Amish children, instead of being absorbed by the latest electronics, are involved in meaningful activities like organizing singing gatherings, helping with chores, and learning from their elders. It's a period of apprenticeship disguised as holiday celebrations, where young people are taught valuable life skills that strengthen both the community and the individual. The gifts exchanged during the Christmas season also serve a functional purpose. A new quilt might keep someone warm during the cold months. Handmade tools are put to use in daily work, and preserved foods are stored in winter pantries. Nothing goes to waste. Each gift is practical and meaningful, reinforcing the Amish philosophy that everything, whether a gift, a skill, or a piece of labor, has purpose. The Amish approach to the post-Christmas period demonstrates an understanding that true joy isn't found in a single day of excessive celebration. There is no rush, no exhaustion from trying to pack everything into a few days. Instead, the rhythm of life in Amish communities continues at a steady pace, enriched by continued celebrations and the warmth of community. Their approach stands in stark contrast to the modern holiday season, where excess and busyness often lead to a sense of emptiness once the festivities end. The Amish, however, have figured out that good things, like community, faith, and giving, shouldn't be rushed. Their extended celebration and focus on community support not only sustain them through the harsh winter months, but also provide lasting joy that endures well into the new year. In a world full of fleeting trends and the pressure to consume, the Amish have mastered the art of meaningful celebration, teaching us that the true spirit of Christmas lies not in the gifts we receive, but in the love and support we give to one another. While the rest of us rush to put away the tinsel, Christmas lights, and decorations after the holiday season, the Amish continue to embrace the spirit of giving and community well into winter. Their way of celebrating Christmas offers a much-needed reminder that perhaps we've been doing the holiday season all wrong. Think back to your last Christmas. How much of it do you truly remember? Between frantic shopping, endless social media posts, and the sugar-fueled chaos of the season, many of us emerge from the holidays feeling more exhausted than enlightened. The irony is that we spend the days leading up to Christmas looking for joy in things, gifts, decorations, and events, when the Amish have long understood that joy comes from a deeper place. For instance, take a look at what's probably sitting in your garage right now. Tangled Christmas lights, artificial trees, and decorations that cover every surface. Meanwhile, the Amish are celebrating one of the biggest holidays of the year without a single strand of tinsel or a twinkling light in sight. And guess what? Their children aren't writing letters to therapists about their tinsel-deprived childhoods. Instead, they are growing up with a deep understanding that happiness doesn't come from decorations or flashy lights. The Amish approach to gift giving is another eye-opener. While many of us max out credit cards buying gifts that people probably don't need, the Amish are busy creating gifts that actually carry meaning. Imagine receiving a present that someone spent months making by hand, something like a hand-carved wooden toy that will last generations, instead of a plastic gadget that will be forgotten by New Year's. There's a unique beauty in gifts that are created with time, effort, and love, versus those bought in haste at the last minute. Their sense of community during the holidays is something that is sadly lacking in many modern celebrations. These days, it's a miracle if the entire family can get together for one meal without distractions, but Amish communities spend weeks visiting one another, sharing meals, and connecting in person. They spend hours in each other's company, talking face-to-face without the distraction of screens. It's a simple yet revolutionary concept. Perhaps one of the most enlightening aspects of Amish Christmas celebrations is how they teach children the value of giving rather than receiving. While many of us scramble to outdo last year's gifts or keep up with what other kids are getting, Amish children are learning the joy of making gifts for others. Instead of feeling deprived because they don't have the latest video games or toys, they thrive in an environment where creativity and imagination are at the forefront. Even their approach to food is a breath of fresh air. There are no last-minute grocery store runs or stressful YouTube tutorials for complicated recipes. Amish Christmas meals are a celebration of simplicity, foods made with care, coming from the land, and prepared by hands that know every step of the process from seed to table. Sharing food that is grown and prepared with such intention brings people together in a way that no fast food dinner or expensive takeout ever could. The Amish post-Christmas period might be the most brilliant part of their entire celebration. While most of us are struggling with post-holiday debt and the blues, the Amish maintain a steady flow of community connection and meaningful celebration. They understand that joy doesn't have to be crammed into a single day or season. Instead of feeling drained by the holidays, they've mastered the art of stretching the spirit of giving and connection over time, making it last longer. Even their dress code offers us a valuable lesson. While many of us stress over finding the perfect outfit for every holiday event, The Amish show us that looking your best doesn't mean following the latest trends or spending a fortune. There's dignity in simplicity. Maybe we don't need 12 different Christmas sweaters after all. The real kicker: the Amish aren't doing any of this to be trendy, environmentally conscious, or to rack up social media likes. They are simply living according to their beliefs. In doing so, they are showing us that less truly can be more. They've proven that we don't need expensive decorations, elaborate entertainment systems, or mountains of presents to create meaningful holiday memories. So this year, instead of getting caught up in the commercial chaos of the season, perhaps we could take a page from the Amish playbook. No, we don't have to sell our cars and buy a horse and buggy, but we could certainly benefit from slowing down, focusing on what truly matters, and remembering that the best gifts often can't be bought in stores. After all, isn't that what we're all really looking for during the holiday season? Not more stuff, but more meaning. Not more events, but more connection. Not more presents, but more presence. The Amish may live in a way that seems old-fashioned to many, but when it comes to celebrating Christmas, they might just be light years ahead of the rest of us.